Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that the video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine, as you can see. Kisumu is fantastic, and maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the Republic. Ladies and gentlemen, William Samoei Arap Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, today named 11 new members to the cabinet. And I've gone through that list. And I'm asking myself one simple question. Who is advising the president?
I have started the process of forming a new broad-based cabinet to assist in driving the urgently needed and irreversible transformation of our country. I nominate the following first batch of 11 individuals for consideration and approval by the National Assembly for appointment as Cabinet Secretaries and Attorney General. Ministry of Interior and National Administration, Professor Kithure Kindiki. Ministry of Health, Dr. Deborah Mulongo Baraza. Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development, Alice Wahome. Ministry of Education, Julius Migosi Ogamba. Ministry of Defense, Aden Duale. Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development, Dr. Andrew Muhia Karanja. Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry, Roslinda Soipan Tuya. Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, Eric Muridhi Muga. Ministry of Roads and Transport, Davis Chircher. Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy, Dr. Margaret Nyambura Ndumu. Attorney General, Rebecca Miano.
Two things very fast. Out of those 11 members to the cabinet, 6 of them are from Mount Kenya. That is something which is not sending good signals. Number 2, William Ruto has retained, are they 5 cabinet secretaries from those who are fired? Let me just go through that list again. Kithure Kindiki has been retained, the same ministry. Alice Wahome has been retained, the same ministry. Aden Duale has been retained, the same ministry. Soipan Tuya has been retained, the same ministry. Davis Chirchir swapped to now where Kipchumba Murkomen was. And of course, Rebecca Miano is now the new Attorney General. In short, William Ruto has retained 6 members from the previous cabinet. I don't want to get into that for now. For now, I want us to do a critical analysis about this new cabinet. But before you do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in.
This is a second opportunity. I mean, then if he doesn't get it right, then we will realize that the fundamental problem this country faces is the president himself, if he doesn't get it right. Because he must get it right. I mean, I know there are many people telling him the right things. There are many people telling him to do the right things. But of course, there are these, guys who are loping all over the place, status quo, who wants to continue. But the president, and many people have told him, actually he should be very selfish. Yes. He should be concerned with himself. his government, rather than seeing whether someone should come back to cabinet. I mean, the interest of him as a politician, the interest of the people of Kenya. What Kenyans want. You know, it's not very difficult to know what Kenyans want.
No.
First of all, something is now very clear. That the move by William Ruto to dissolve the cabinet was not informed by the protest by the agencies. That is now very clear. Because if it were informed by that, there is no way certain names would have made way back into the cabinet. I'm convinced beyond any reasonable doubt that the move to dissolve that cabinet was to allow Raila Odinga to bring his members or his people into the cabinet. You can easily conclude that William Ruto has already filled his slots. Raila Odinga is going to bring or to nominate 7 people into that team. And that's why William Ruto talked of a leaner cabinet. So if Raila Odinga were to bring, how many? 7. We already have 6. That's 18. They'll be good to go. But looking at this cabinet, a few things come into play. The first thing which is coming out clearly is that the grand national government is being created. If you look at the way William Ruto has appointed his team, 6 from the mountain by design. By design. Now, let us look at those who have not made a comeback. In the coastal region, Aisha Jomwa and Salim Vuria are out. You see, it doesn't make sense for me to have Soipan back in the cabinet, then leave Salim Vuria. It means politics is at play. And I want to assume that William Ruto is leaving coastal region for Raila Odinga, so that Raila Odinga, being the dominant person in the coastal region, will be given the leeway to nominate. And I'm seeing Joho making it to the cabinet. The other person making it to the cabinet from the coastal region, from my side, is not yet known. Then you go to Western. Western, what has happened is that Nakumicha has been kicked out. Then William Ruto has brought on board Dr. Deborah Mulongo Baraza. According to some sources, let me just get, according to some sources, this lady is a cousin to Dr. Humphrey Watanga, the KRA Commissioner General, who is married to Wetangula's sister. They are from Kimi Lili. So you get the drift there. So I want to assume the appointment of Dr. Deborah is to compensate Wetangula. Let's give credit where it is due. If you look at the 5 new people who have been introduced into the cabinet, they are well aligned. Actually, they meet the expectation. And that's why I asked you whether William Ruto has good advisors, because if I were the advisors, I would have first of all introduced the 5 and the Attorney General. Then hear what Kenyans are going to say to win their confidence. But you see, if you look at their CVs, very impressive, but is being overtaken by the return of Kindiki and Duale. So again, you go to Kisii. In Kisii, William Ruto has removed Ezekiel Muchogu. Yeah? And he has brought on board a gentleman here called Julius Ogambo, a lawyer of high standing. But this was Muchogu's running mate in the last election. So which means they agreed, Muchogu, Kenyans are complaining, step back. But let us have your deputy. But that's not the politics. The truth of the matter is that William Ruto is keen on Kisii politics. And by appointing someone from Kisii, it means he's limiting Raila Odinga from appointing someone from Kisii. Because Kisii cannot have 2 members of the cabinet to play local politics. By having a cabinet secretary from Kisii, William Ruto expects to have some edge. Now that's why the Kisii guy has been appointed. Then you come to Luo Nyanza. Owalo has not been returned. In fact, I've been going through comments online. People are like, why return Soipan Tuya and not Eliud Owalo? The truth is, William Ruto believes that in Nyanza, Raila Odinga has a say, not Owalo. So it's also given Raila Odinga the leeway to appoint someone from the Luo community. I don't know whether they are going to be 1 person or 2 people this time around. Then you go to Mount Kenya. He has filled all the slots. So for me, I'm seeing when the cabinet will be completed, Raila will bring 7 people. Of course, William Ruto has some 2 or 3 more slots to play around if he wants to retain the maximum. But you see, Kenyans were like, can you retain the minimum, which is 14? So by having 11 already and 7, we are talking of around 18. So he still, because maximum is supposed to be 22, it means he still has some 4 more. If he wants 2, 1, something like that. So I'm looking at the formation of grand national government. Number 2, Ruto has also decided to retain his friends. And not just his friends, close political allies. In fact, I knew from the onset that there was no way William Ruto was going to kick Professor Kithure Kindiki and Aden Duale. But I never imagined that William Ruto was going to retain them in their current position. If I were to advise the president, if I were his advisor, I would have swapped. I would have made Professor Kithure Kindiki the Cabinet Secretary for Defense, and then Aden Duale the Cabinet Secretary for Interior. Because those are 2 critical dockets which requires allies. So Kindiki, after the aftermath of the Gen Z protest, the abductions, the eliminations, he ought to have been given another ministry. The defense, where would just go relax there, do things, then introduce Duale. And you know Duale is a Muslim. And Muslims, sometimes they cannot give certain orders. So if I were him, I would have done that. So he has retained his allies. He has also retained Alice Wahome. Remember, Alice Wahome was a member of parliament. So Ipan Tuya retained, but you know, Kenyans are saying very many things about her. Because I'm actually not understanding why you'd ask Moses Kuria out and retain her. But for Moses Kuria, I think his fate is sealed. Someone from Kiambu has been brought on board. Kiambu cannot produce 2 cabinet secretaries. Number 3, I'm also looking at William Ruto's appointment and his resource mobilization. Now, William Ruto appointed Kipchumba Murkomen to the powerful docket of transport. And I've always explained to you guys that that docket is very powerful. He nominated Davis Chirchir to the Ministry of Energy, another powerful docket. Those are where money are made for the campaigns. Just the other day you read how a deal was made to lease our airports. Those are serious deals. You know how Kipchumba Murkomen has been floating in money. So the truth is, there's no way William Ruto was going to allow someone else to be in charge of transport. Davis Chirchir had to be the person. And I can assure you that there's a chance that Kipchumba Murkomen is going to make a comeback. If he won't make a comeback, then William Ruto is also going to have his man in the energy ministry. Of course, the Ministry of Finance is going to be given to someone else. And I can bet on John Mbadi. Right? Yeah. So These are the people who will raise money for William Ruto. Kipchumba Murkomen, you talk of Chirchir, and of course not to Kipchumba Murkomen. Let me talk of the ministries now, the transport ministry, the energy ministry, and of course, there is also the interior, where there's a lot of money flowing unaccounted for, and the military. Yeah. But I'm also seeing Rigathi Gachagwa's hands in this appointment. Let me begin by Moses Kuria. The fate of Moses Kuria has been sealed. Someone from Mount Kenya, I think the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, who is well qualified, Dr. Andrew Karanja. Is it Karanja? There's a professor here. Yeah, Professor Karanja from Kiambu. Well aligned. So Moses Kuria out. So that helps Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua and his allies have always maintained that they wanted more ministry, government of shareholders. Sisi ndio tulipigia wewe kura. So we are not compromising on that. From the list, you can clearly tell that majority, 6 out of 11 from the mountain. So I think Rigathi really told Ruto, no. Mountain, huku mlima, maneno ya mlima, wachana naye kabisa, don't touch. Ukiguza natoka. And because Raila Odinga is still also not, you see, the thing is, William Ruto is going to start playing politics, but he's also waiting for Raila Odinga to move. Raila Odinga entry into the cabinet and the way they'll relate is going to shape William Ruto's politics and his relationship with the mountain. That's okay. Number 5, I'm also looking at the possibility that is it possible, just imagining that William Ruto is setting up his former allies so that, number 1, William Ruto did something which has been taken to court. He decided to gazette the dissolution of the cabinet, and he gave clear reasons: incompetence, corruption, and the rest. Incompetence. So many lawyers are explaining that these guys will no longer be qualified to hold any office. You can go to Nelson Harvey, he tweeted something like that. You can go to Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi. In fact, he was even on Spice explaining.
Is it possible that some of the folks who have been vacated of their positions could actually make a comeback in this new cabinet?
Legally, they cannot make a. I think we have made that point.
Okay.
The president has given very, very well reasoned why he dismissed them. There's governance issues, he said. There's transparency issues. There's accountability. Those are his words, not mine. So if he fires because of transparency and accountability, he can't
bring them back.
He can't bring them back. But the question we ask is, why do they want to come back?
Is it not the thing you who said just now?
Yes, but why do they? Let's take one example. For example, assume Linturi wants to come back.
Okay.
Why does he want to come back? Why? I'm not saying he wants to come back. Probably he doesn't want to come back.
Let me ask this.
Why would you want to?
If indeed,
isn't there life after cabinet?
There should be.
There should be.
Yes. President Ruto has an excellent chance. I mean, his government was almost run out of town by these young people who demonstrated. And they had genuine grievances because they want a better Kenya. A Kenya that listens to them, that delivers to them, that does not steal from them. And I think the task of the president in reconstituting his cabinet is to address that and give them competent, qualified Kenyans who are not thieves.
And because these guys are close allies of William Ruto, he didn't want to fire them. But he knows that I appoint you guys, then someone will go to court. Then that case is going to drag up to maybe Supreme Court. Then these guys, because clearly from the comment, it's like the lawyers are in agreement that William Ruto ought to have used executive order, not gazette notice. So clearly, the case is going to drag. it's going to reach a point the court will declare them unfit to hold office. And they'll be forced now to vacate. Simple. William Ruto shall say, okay, Mimi, I appointed you guys, the courts. Let us obey the courts. That's something I'm seeing. I'm also seeing a possibility where the Gen Zs will pile a lot of pressure on members of parliament during vetting, not to allow them, because vetting is next week, not to allow those names. So they'll go through vetting process. People will be fighting, just like the finance bill. Some of them will say, okay, Sisi, apana, this one we can't. So I don't know what you think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.